Represento las calles de mi tierra. Mi bandera, ay, mi bandera. Puerto Rico y todos los latinos. Sonamos donde quiera.
Buenas tardes. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our channel here on the Sports Jedi Network. We are going to review today the Saturday night's main event here on the Sports Jedi Network. We are Latinos with voices. I am the one and only BX Sports Jedi Kev, and with me the PGA Chris, feeling better from his little bit of a under the weather, but salute, Chris. What's up, man?
What's up? Yes, I'm feeling a little bit better, a lot better. Especially now, the Steelers upset the Colts. But no, it was Saturday night's main event was good. It was okay. It wasn't anything special. It wasn't anything, that it's gonna have you talking. I didn't even think the matches were that great, but the outcomes were fine. And I thought for only giving us 4 matches, they lengthened it out as okay. They didn't. Some of the matches weren't too long. It's the matches that needed a little bit of extra length got it. So not that bad of a show, but nothing special really came out of
And of course, before we get going, we got new world champions. We got not just one, but 2 world champions. Some may say a Jade Cargill destroying of Tiffany Stratton. We're going to break that down. And it's funny because I have different opinion from Chris. And this is what makes a wonderful show. And no one's right, no one's wrong. We're going to agree to disagree, but we're going to give our opinions and we're going to give our thoughts here on the Sports Jedi Network here on the recap of Saturday night's main event. I want to go first and foremost. I want to say I really thought that when I did the watch along last night, I gave that a perfect 10. And I know you're saying different from my end, and I'm going to explain my point of view why I gave it a perfect 10 on the show. You had crowning of new championship with storylines, implications. Jade Cargill, the Tiffany Stratton knee injury. We're going to break all that down. One thing that I really enjoyed and I really thought that really made the show, to me, feel like a 10, the placement of the commercial ads. We didn't have in matches commercial breaks. You waited. They kind of borrowed a moniker out of the TNA Plus app or your Impact Zone. Wait for the match to conclude, then give us 5 to close to 6 minutes of ad commercial breaks between matches. I personally appreciated that. I enjoyed it because it allowed me to get into every one of those matches. And I enjoy that. But we're going to break things down. And of course, I love it because I want to hear your point of view. Maybe I'm over enthusiastic for what a Saturday night's main event, or maybe maybe I'm underselling it. So this is why I love it. And no one's wrong, no right or wrong. It's just a difference of opinion. That's what debates are. And that's why we want the IWC without it. This is how you have a healthy conversation, a healthy debate. And we'll get to a point where we like to speak about that. First and foremost, hit the like button, subscribe, share. Thank you for everyone. We are in the month of November. And I want to make it a big point in our channel to have a month of gratitude. Thanking everyone for all the likes, subscribes, for following us on X, whether it's a new X account or the current one where Chris is at, and following, not just myself, Chef Dan, Dying Breed 18, Chris, Canary, the voice of the channel, female voice of the channel, as well as my son Austin doing the MMA review. So we want to say thank you foremost. Thank you for joining us on a Sunday to listen to our opinions, our thoughts on the breakdown of Saturday night's main event. So it's the month of gratitude, and we want to say thank you. Start off foremost from us here on the Sports Jedi Network. Chris, this is something right off the bat. Saturday night's main event. Let's go right into the first opening contest. How surprised were you to see Cody Rhodes, Drew McIntyre kick off the festivities for Saturday night's main event?
I wasn't very surprised. You gotta have somebody like Cody either start or finish the show. This isn't the first time he's been on the card as world champion where he has not main evented the show. So this was fine. Because your main event with is for a vacated championship involving 2 of your biggest stars. So that's a perfect main event. I don't mind the main event. I thought the match placement was fine. honestly. For having 4 matches, they did the match placement honestly good, really, really well. But the match itself, I thought the match was it was very good. Obviously Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre are 2 of the best in that company, man. I think Drew, he needs to be next for that world title. He needs to be next for that undisputed title, something, because I think over the last couple of, not just months, but the last year especially, he's really improved. And I know he's not everyone's favorite over here, but to me, he looks great. His promos, when he's in a promo with a Punk or somebody that is really could challenge him, or that's maybe a little bit better than he is, I think Drew gets the best out of himself. And with Cody, he did fine. And I would like to see Drew eventually have an undisputed championship run, but we knew it wasn't going to be yesterday. I knew it wasn't going to be yesterday. Cody Rhodes obviously wins. It was a good match. I think SmackDown, they need to keep building this up. I think SmackDown was really lacking something exciting. If they can keep making this exciting, maybe add Randy Orton in the mix, because obviously we know he's going to be involved with Cody Rhodes eventually. And I think sticking, obviously he's had his thing with Drew McIntyre recently. So I think putting them 3 would really make SmackDown a little bit more interesting. I'm not saying it's going to change the show or, anything like that, but I think it would be a little bit more interesting, especially again adding Randy Orton in there. It really could be anybody's game. But yeah, I would do that at Survivor Series, or I would at least run this back at Survivor Series. Hopefully, put the title back on Drew over there. Obviously that Cody going to the announce table was pretty brutal. But I thought the match was good.
It was.
I thought the match was pretty good. Again, right winner for now. He just beat Cena in his retirement tour. I didn't want him to be a transitional champion, even though I don't really like Cody. But you can't have him being a transitional champion at this point. So hopefully, I don't think he'll lose it at Survivor Series. That's just something in the air. I would like for it to happen. But either way, I would like to see this either run back or an implication with Randy or something. But I don't know. I wouldn't mind if they did it again. But really good match.
I enjoyed the match. I thought this match was very, very well done. Some may say it could be the match of the night. This could have been the best match of the evening of the card to open up the contest. I know in our chat we were wondering, a few people were wondering why was this not the main event, but you said it perfectly. It's a vacated title. We're going to coronate a new champion. Some of us thought there was going to be a certain aspect to that world championship that's why they left it last for the shock and all value, because we didn't know where direction WWE was going creatively. For me, I thought Drew was going to be the undisputed world champion. I was like, you know what? It makes sense. Drew wins the title. He could have held on to it until Royal Rumble. The American Nightmare in Saudi wins the Royal, not the Royal Rumble, but a match to get his title back at Saudi. New champion off to WrestleMania season with Cody Rhodes again as champion. Also, I always try to bring a little bit of, I don't want to bring their personal life into wrestling. You know how I am. I respect that. What they do outside of the WWE, outside the four walls, that's none of our business. But then I say, wait a minute, he has a newborn, a young daughter, with his daughter Liberty and Pharaoh's aging, so forth. Would it be great? I know they have a very massive holiday tour coming up. His new daughter, he could be home for Christmas. He doesn't have to have that big monster responsibility as the undisputed world champion, getting up and doing the interviews, doing the media tours. Leave that on Drew for at least the holiday season. And that's why I was thinking outside of booking. I was trying to think it as personal, throwing a little personal involvement along with stuff, unless if he says, well, I took some time to film Street Fighter. No, I'm off invested to make money for Christmas and go on that tour. Maybe those were the sacrifices he made for him. And it has nothing to do with the wrestling booking. It's just me trying to look at it from another point of view, or like they say, outside the box. Or why would give Drew McIntyre a championship run? He's your champion going into War Games. If he has a group of people that he hates, he could, bloodline family, get a group of folks there, because they have not built for War Games. There is no real big build. They're teasing it. They mention it, the videos. They show them the vignettes of the cage and all that good stuff. So they're teasing it, but they haven't. Maybe this Monday night they start the laying the foundation for the War Games participants, matchups, what's going to happen going forward. Personally, when referee Dan Angler was hurt, I was like, ooh, who's going to come out here? You know, is there going to be pondering and interference? But I go, who is really feuding with Drew McIntyre outside of Jacob Fatu? And you're not going to bring Jacob back in yet. And I don't think anyone and Cody really had anything to any kind of a other beef, because Cody's last matchup was Cena, and Cena's not heel. So I kind of was like, where are they going with this? I was really like ins and needles, but they kind of protected it with Drew McIntyre getting DDT right on that, or Crossroads, on that belt for the victory, clean victory but Drew was spinning where the title came into play and interference. Do this lead into a match in the cage for Drew? Are you invested to see Drew and Cody again?
No, yeah, absolutely. That's why I said I think they should run this back. I think they should run it back at Survivor Series.
Okay.
If they're both not going to be implicated in the War Games match, they both were in it last year, or in the year before. So I don't remember exactly which one. So they were in one recent ones. So you got to have something. Besides your War Games matches on the card, run this back. It's going to be very steel cage heavy already. So I don't know. Maybe like a no DQ or something like that would be a little better. But I don't know. Am I invested to see this match again? Yes. Do I know an outcome? I don't know. But I would like to see Drew win. I just don't know if that's going to happen.
Let me throw this at you. What happens if Drew says, you know, the title was in the way and caused me to lose? And Cody, because he already agreed. He already got Cody to agree a disqualification, a count out. You're going to lose the world title. That was stipulation in this match. What is the stipulation going forward that could really top that? Is you're talking about maybe a cage weapons match, or similar that we saw on the pay-per-view No Mercy with Jordan Grace and Blake Monroe with all weapons match. And you have all weapons. You can't, if the title's there, you want to use a weapon. It's a weapon. Cody says, "God, fine, you get it." Maybe they go that route. I don't know if they go that route. I don't know if the wrestling community as a whole wants to see that match run back, because one thing they're throwing a lot of shade on the other companies that they're repeating their main event for Full Gear from Wrestle Dream. So you gotta be equal. You gotta be equal for both companies. Where we saw now we're getting another a trilogy. But if it's done correctly with storytelling, I think we could get there. I think we could buy in to a third match between Drew and Cody Rhodes with that weaponized cage stipulation. If they go that route, I don't know if the IWC would like to see that, or wrestling. But this is why they have these next few weeks to emotionally grab us and make us invested to want to watch that match even more. Tell us some other stuff there. Chris, I was saying this on our watch along on Friday on Halloween, when when Drew McIntyre agreed and Cody agreed to all the stipulation. I thought Nick Aldis didn't want that. That's why I got to put a referee in this match to make sure there is no plunder, there's no ref bumps, everything down the middle. I thought that's where they could have inserted Randy Orton in, and then you could have had something. But but they didn't go that route. Maybe they're saving that for this.
They are. That's what I think they
Games. Okay, but we'll see where that goes. This match was very good. I really enjoyed the fact they almost went 30 minutes. I think Heather had that time stopwatch on our watch along. Close to 30 minutes, 27 minutes, give and take. Great matchup. We get a clean victory. We go into a match where this is going to raise a lot of eyebrows. And of course, I want to put this graphic up there. Still world champion Cody Rhodes. A lot of eyebrows is for your WWE Women's World Champion Tiffany Stratton, who was at 301 days as your women's champion, trying to defend and trying to win for a second time. Jade Cargill, Queen of the Ring winner, came up short at SummerSlam. Got into the ring here with Tiffany Stratton. last week, the heel turn, the gash in her eyebrow. Jade came out there and she looked like a purpose. If you're going to build your next female heel, you have to make her feel like an obstacle. You have to make her feel like a person who you're like, you know what? Who the hell is going to beat her? Because whoever beats Jade Cargill is going to be like, whoa. She's gonna be baby Uber face, because Jade is gonna go into this heelish villainous role where people are gonna dislike her. And I said this on the watch along, Chris. The more you put hate on Jade Cargill's title reigns or her as a character, the more creative and WWE is going to keep her with that world title, because they want you to be fucking mad, upset, and dislike that lady for whatever reason. If you don't like her, if you're intimidated of a strong black woman holding a title, that's your prerogative. Me personally, I'm 100% behind Jade Cargill as your world champion. You have to find out what you have in her. Regardless, oh, she can't cut a promo. Oh, she does that. She's terrible. You have to put the strap. You have to throw in the deep water. You have to let her swim and let her prove you wrong or prove you right. To me, that's where I'm at with Jade Cargill. I hope she proves everyone wrong.
You're not wrong, and you're not wrong at all, and that's why I simply question the decision. I'm not saying I'm not outraged. I'm not saying that, oh my God, why? Like, why? No, it's not. It's not that at all, because she looks phenomenal. Jade Cargill looks great, and obviously, you know, the Tiffany injury angle, the knee injury, that makes sense. I simply question this. When it comes to Jade Cargill, and okay, all that stuff might be right. I'm not going to hold it against her in this situation like a lot of people do. This is all I simply question. Am I going to get a Jade Cargill championship run where she's out there telling a story? And what I mean by that is, have we really seen much of Jade Cargill having a meaningful storyline or a feud? Yes. But when it was finally a little bit, but when it finally starts to pick up, when they're finally starting to get somewhere, Naomi gets pregnant and Bianca gets hurt, and we still haven't seen it. And we're not going to see any of them for a while. So I'm not going to put that on her, but I'm simply questioning, am I going to see a Jade Cargill run where she's dominating people with reason, with, you know, not just a match here, or the match gets announced and then boom, build up to there? Are we going to get organic build matches with her? Or am I going to have to sit through another Jade Cargill title run of her just dominating people like she was in AE? And I don't even like to say that when it comes to a conversation like this, because I'm not even talking about AEW. But I'm bringing this up for the simple fact is I already watched her dominate a bunch of people as a heel, as a champion, and they didn't lose her. Because who's going to beat that? Of course. But can you? I just hope WWE, for example, like if they do somebody like a Roxanne, right? Who obviously in size wise, Jade, she's the underdog. But let's say she was a babyface, just a hypothetical. You got to make me believe that Roxanne can beat her, and that B, Jade Cargill is still dominant. I don't know. There's something about me that I don't want that for her. I want her to thrive. I want her to have great feuds and long storylines because at the end of the day, that's what's going to get her over. Look, we know she's not the greatest wrestler, but at the end of the day, she's improving on that. She's improved so much since she's come to WWE. Her look is phenomenal. I don't think it's the wrestling, though. I simply think for me personally, I just want her to feel meaningful. I just don't want her to go out there and just beat up people and just win matches. Because, yes, she's meaningful in the sense of she's dominant. Nobody can beat her. But, I mean, this is about storytelling, especially when you're in WWE. That's all I question. Again, I'm not saying it's the right decision. I'm not saying it's the wrong decision. Do I want her to thrive? Of course. She's phenomenal looking. And she has improved so much. And I'm rooting for her. I just question the type of Jade Cargill run we're going to get. That's all.
No, you have a right to that. And I was telling the chat when they were getting a little concerned that she's the champion, it's not going to be great. I said they have a story with Tiffany Stratton, her comeback with her knee. If things aren't resonating, where the fact where Jade isn't the champion that's hitting and isn't really hitting all the cylinders, and WWE wants to make a pivot and audit a change, they have Tiffany Stratton right there with the storyline trying to get her title back with her knee, getting her knee. You didn't beat me 100%. You know, I was compromised. They could always, because I already have a victory on you already at SummerSlam. And if she does take that title from Jade, you have also a 1-1 series where they could go through that one more to try to even the series who could or title on the line. They have storyline for Jade short term with Tiffany Stratton, or even long term, because they could go the long way. Say Tiffany's going to be out to recover for a couple of weeks, and just to keep it a storyline. It sucks that we want to see her on television. She had a friend, but they might do the storyline where they'll keep her off the TV because they want to make her a babyface, or they have her in case of an emergency, in case the Jade Cargill title run doesn't resonate, doesn't translate with the analytic numbers, and they could bring back Tiffany right into the fold and heat up, because I don't think Bianca is going to come right away. You don't want to do that now. That's a WrestleMania type of deal if they're going to go Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill. Also, SmackDown doesn't really look at their roster. I don't know what's going on with Julia with that United States title, not getting a lot of matches. You know, they're not going to have both your women's champions be sidelined the way Julia's not really doing much, and now Jade ain't going to do much. They're going to get the opportunity to showcase at least one of the two women, and I think that other one is going to be Jade, because Jade just commands your attention. Whatever heat, either it's go away heat, disappear, whatever you want to call it, or you're an uber fan of her, she grabs your attention. So I think they're going to go with that. But like you said, who is her first feud? Now they could circumvent where it's War Games, and they could do a gumbo of all these different women with no really number one contender for her comes out there. I'm just afraid, don't feed her Meechin. I understand I've been calling for Meechin to do something different outside of the United States World Championship, but I need Meechin to be built credible. If you're going to go Meechin and Jade, I can't have Meechin feed her immediately where we know Meechin is going to get beat by Jade, and you're not really going to care. You want to make sure if you're going to give Meechin, eventually you have to build her up and all that stuff. They can always go to the old reliable where people dislike is Nia Jax, but Nia is a main uber heel. Now you have to choose who do you want. You don't want to turn Jade back babyface either against a Nia Jax, because Nia is just that heel that you don't want. You don't want her to be cheered. Do they split Charlotte and Alexa Bliss? But then you're getting finally Charlotte and Jade Cargill. Is Charlotte going to be comfortable enough to do the job for Jade in her title defense? Those are all these questions. I don't know. We don't know, Chris. It's interesting. All these possibilities are a little bit interesting.
It absolutely, dude. Her and Charlotte is something I want to see, but let's not have this be another Charlotte and Tiffany fiasco. It's not going to get there. It got there because of something Tiffany said that, in the moment she might have, regretted saying. I think Jade, no, she's a married woman. She knows not to cross. Anyway, my point is with her, I just don't want that to be a situation, because again, Charlotte is, she did the job for Tiffany last year. 2 jobs in a row for a big match like that. That's going to be a tough one. That's going to be a tough one for Jade to go over, politically, as they say. So I'm nervous for her. Not nervous, because I don't think her World Championship run's going to be bad. I wonder who she's going to feud with. I wonder who's gonna make Jade Cargill look like $1 million. Who's gonna be the Becky Lynch that Jade Cargill needs? It's Bianca. That's who it is. But she's not here right now. That feud and that match done right is going to make her to the next level. So if they could make Jade meaningful until she gets back, she's fine, in my opinion.
And you know what? Like you mentioned earlier, it's not Jade
again. That's why I
Cargill's
question it. That's why I question it.
That Trinity.
That's
that,
why
that Trinity got pregnant. That the finger situation
it's
happened.
It's not her fault. No,
Bianca.
I'm not. Yeah, exactly.
No.
You can't put that on her. That's why I but it happened. It happened. So we didn't get to see Jade Cargill's full potential of having a meaningful storyline that people are going to remember, or that's going to make people want to watch the match that they're building up to. That's the only thing.
And
Again,
it was
with
heading
Bianca coming, yeah.
It was heading with Naomi and Jade. The proceed with caution, that was heading to that. Although it felt like Jade got the best of Naomi, because then she went on and won the Money in the Bank, and they kind of went a different path. But she was holding a title, so I think we were gonna get Jade and Naomi, where Jade was going to chase Naomi. I think that probably would have happened. Now there was no pregnancy situation. We probably would have been getting at War Games.
No, that's why I feel bad for. That's why I'm not going to hold it against her. I think exactly that's what's going to happen. And hell, I wouldn't be surprised if Bianca.
And you have to find out.
I'm not saying Bianca's like, yeah, exactly, and I'm not saying Bianca was going to come back right away, but who knows? Maybe she's like, okay, I can work through this. Let's go out there. Hell, them three together, they need to do it. We've seen Io, Sky, Rhea, and Bianca. Why can't we see those three in a triple threat?
And that's probably next year sometime. No, if Trinity has a healthy pregnancy and everything goes well, and she gets back into shape. That's looks like in WrestleMania, not this year. The following, unfortunately, is going to be in Saudi Arabia. That's what sucks, because I don't, you got to give about. That's
why I say SummerSlam.
SummerSlam in 27, not 26. Or I don't know because. Or 27. I mean, oh my God, my numbers are all off. Not this one. This one comes 26. 27 is 27 SummerSlam, because you got to give her a year just to get, it's just she's giving birth. She's got to get acclimated and all that, and then get into ring shape and all that stuff. It's not like snap of a finger she's back in the ring. It's motherhood is some women it does great. Some women it just takes them a little, every woman's different. Let's see how for Trinity where it goes for her. But we wish her all the best. She's missed already, but we know that that's something more important. And Bianca, hopefully she heals up with her finger. I've said this, and it'll be a hot take. If Bianca wants to take into the Rumble, and even if she's fingers healed, I wouldn't blame her. If she says WWE, I'll come back in and I'm gonna take the holiday off. Remember, and I hate to go to the personal stuff, but I hate to go to personal stuff though, Chris. And I don't like to say that over the air because that's their business. But forgive me if I'm crossing a line. But her mother wasn't doing well in health. Maybe she wants to spend the holiday time with her mom. Don't know. I'm not saying the mom is in deathbed or passing away. She's been a little bit under her health wise. Spend that time and appreciate the mom for that holiday season, and then come back at the Royal Rumble, get going. Also, remember, people booed her in the road to WrestleMania when she was your uber babyface. They were booing her for no reason, for her not being heel whatsoever. They wanted her to go away. While now people want her back. And if I'm her, I'm gonna take time off. I wouldn't blame her if she uses that and says, no, I'll stay away a little longer. I'll come back in January, take the full extent of my time away. I wouldn't blame I wouldn't blame Bianca Belair a bit. We miss her. We'll love her to be on this Friday. They could use that happiness, that energy that she brings. But if she decides to stay away, I have no I wouldn't blame her one bit, Chris.
I mean, there's nothing for her to do.
There's nothing for her right now, because it's right now the holiday time. It's WrestleMania season right after the Rumble. A Rumble and then WrestleMania, the Chamber. That's when the big stuff is happening. Not saying that they're mailing it in, but we pretty much know they're going to start with War Games in the end. It's going to be overshadowed, because before we mentioned the triple threat, we had an announcement, John Cena. Now this one is going to speculate a lot of conversation. We're going to do it now, and then we're going to finish talking about it at the end as well. John Cena announced that he is going to have a tournament, or WWE is going to announce a tournament, 16-man tournament. John Cena says with wrestlers part of NXT, Raw, SmackDown, and wrestlers outside of the wrestling company to be part and have an opportunity on the final Saturday night's main event to take on John Cena. Now, I've asked the chat, who do you like? Who would you like to see John Cena's final opponent? That opens the door for so many possibilities. Now, we're going to say this, and I heard other people say it as well. I don't think we're seeing Chris Jericho, because I don't think his AEW deal expires on that time. I think expires a couple of days or months later. I don't know, especially with this Andrade situation. I'm WWE. I wouldn't go near that just to try to, you don't need to go into some legals. And also Christian, or Edge. Neither one are they under contract with All Elite Wrestling. They're not going to be there unless if somehow we get a Shane McMahon buying AEW like they did with WCW, that kind of angle. I don't see that happening. I don't see it, Chris. But it's interesting to see who's these 16 men that are going to be chosen. I have an opinion, but I want to hear your thoughts.
I mean, that's the only thing I'm looking forward to. I think this is Gunther's tournament to win. I think either way, Gunther's going to win. They're going to elevate that guy, and Goldberg just wasn't it. John Cena is going to be it. They're not going to. That's not going to go wrong. That's what I'm looking forward to in this. Who's going to be in it? Excuse me. I have some ideas. Obviously, Joe Hendry's my wild card. That's not in the company. Obviously, you're going to have maybe a Carmelo Hayes, or a Trick or somebody like that be in the tournament. Joe Hendry. I'm just looking forward to who's going to be in the tournament. Again, November 10th, day after my birthday, they'll be in Boston for Cena's hometown. Last Raw there. So they got some important planning to do between there, Madison Square Garden. Hopefully Santana maybe gets an opportunity. Again, that's a long shot, which he's not even on the fucking poster of the NXT Rush, and he's the TNA champion, but Joe Hendry is. So that's a wild card, but I'm going to say Joe Hendry is kind of the wild card. Matt Cardona would be cool. I would not be surprised if he's involved at Madison Square Garden or something, or Boston. I don't know. Or on SmackDown. He could be used on SmackDown, but that's what I'm excited for. I'm excited to see who's looking forward, who's going to be in it, what matchups are we going to get. Hopefully they treat it well. You can't redo this again. And I hope we get some matches that, maybe we've never seen before, maybe we haven't seen in a while. But at the end of the day, I think Gunther will. If he is one of the contestants, I think he's winning it no matter what.
Chris, I've been saying, doing this reaction or reviewing, recapping, watching along, being part of the wrestling content creating, whatever we want to call. We sometimes got to we have to have at least two different hats when we watch the wrestling now. There's your fandom hat and what's best for business. Find money and sense wise. When it comes to anything, any storyline related, who's going over, who won, the perfect, I don't know if it's a fan or storyline, because actually there's three hats. The best storyline that you could really get people behind, but it's not going to make you a lot of money. Is Joe Henry, because Joe Henry, if you hear his story when he mentioned he was motivated and inspired by a John Cena, where a friend had, I believe, was a conversation on a phone. They called him on a telephone, or he met, or was in a meet and greet overseas where John Cena met Joe Henry or called him. Some I paraphrase. I don't have the actual facts with it, and that totally changed Joe Henry's life to get into the professional wrestling, the love of wrestling, and wanting to be what John Cena looked up to a John Cena. That alone right there, if you're talking about storytelling and story reasons why, it makes sense. But then I always go back to what Trick Williams said in Bound for Glory. It's not who has the better story, it's what's best for business. And he was best. So I always ask that, and that's been always playing in my mind whenever we do these type of questions or what ifs or hypotheticals, hyperbole, whatever you want to call it. Joe Henry makes the most sense. Business, money, and dollar sense. Gunther, because Gunther is, he retired already, another legend in his pinnacle. If you want to make him, you want to really solidify Gunther as a Hall of Famer, Schuin, which he has a lot of wrestling career there. Here's one thing I want to say, Chris, about this tournament. If there is a current world, and it's not going to be, it doesn't sound good for our guy Mike Santana, what I'm going to say. If you're currently holding a world title in any of these companies, I don't need you in the tournament. I don't want you in the tournament, including our guy Mike Santana. And as much as I would love to see Mike Santana be showcased Believe me, I will be the first MFer to lose my voice and go crazy, waving the flag and go Mike Santana. It'll be a great opportunity for Mike to take on John Cena, because now that title that it gets to the finals, now is that going to be on the line? Are you going to make it a non-title match? And he's not winning because John ain't going to win and take that title to go. So I wouldn't want to see any. And I talk about all. I don't want to see. As much as I would love to see Ethan Page in the tournament, I don't need Ethan Page in the tournament. He should be there, but you're currently holding a world title. You should not be part of the tournament. Ilya Dragunov, no thank you. You're United States champion. Even Dominik Mysterio, as much as everybody wants to see, and the title that eludes John Cena, I don't need him there. I want wrestlers that don't have a current title, because now you're going to placate them in a storyline with the tournament. Because these champions already have their own missions, their own storytelling. Now you're going to take them and put them in that too. So what happens to the wrestlers that don't get? And again, I don't want to see Kazira Tozawa. No, it's no disrespect. I don't need to see Otis. I don't need to see Apollo Crew come back to wrestle in this tournament. No offense. Give me the best of the best from Matt Cardona. Like you said, Matt Cardona. If you want to give me Mustafa Ali, I'll take from TNA, Joe Henry. I don't think that's now we're asking for too many, because I don't think they're going to bring so many from outside. I don't need to see anyone from Evolve. They're not there yet. Please don't waste as much as I don't need to see a Cappuccino Jones or Sean Legacy. No disrespect to you guys. You're not there yet. No disrespect. No disrespect. I'd rather have a Santo Escobar who don't take that part away from him, from Carmelo Hayes, those type of wrestlers that need that. And of course, Gunther, who doesn't have a world title. Those are the type of wrestlers that I'm looking to place into this tournament. If makes sense?
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's totally fair.
Now, they could do what they want. It's not a tournament to make me happy. It's what makes the most money and sense and more attractiveness. But if that's also a way of getting people television time by the end, so like that they can have TV time by the year's end, and maybe they have a hell of a match showcase on SmackDown, Raw, NXT, wherever they're gonna have these matches, or what platform to showcase themselves and say, you know what, I like to see a little more of you from 2026. That's all. That's why I want this tournament. It could be, if it's predictable, but at least these wrestlers to show us something that doesn't get TV time, so creative could think about what they have in the cupboard in case of injuries or elevation and storyline, contracts, all that shit. Hopefully they could show us something in those tournaments. So that's my thought. That's my opinion. That's my hot take. I would love that tournament to provide that for John Cena's final opponent. With that, speaking of that, we had a phenomenal triple threat match. For your Intercontinental Champion, Penta, Rusev, and Dominik Mysterio. I know certain people wanted to see Dominik Mysterio drop the title. He has the Mega Campeonato. Why, people want to hot potato the titles. You hot potato the title with changing here and there. You become a 24/7 championship, ladies and gentlemen. You don't want that with these titles. You want these titles to mean something. I understand people are not in board of making these long title runs, longevity, but you can't hot potato these titles. You want to give it Dominik a little bit of become an obstacle in that division where people are cheering for Dirty Dom. First of all, I thought all three men were great. The spot with the bell from Dirty Dom. What is Dominik Mysterio's name? What's his nickname coming to the ring? His name is El Sucio. Dirty Dom. That means he's El Sucio. He's the dirtiest of the dirtiest. That's the name in translated in Spanish. El Sucio de lo Sucio. What's the point of calling you that? And you're not going to live up to your name or nickname gimmick by doing what he did, those shenanigans with ringing the bell. All he's doing is living to his persona of his reputation as the dirtiest of the dirtiest by ringing that bell when you thought the accolades was going to get the Continental title. Told that story the way they're supposed to tell stories with that, regardless if you like the victor or not like the victor. Hey, I wouldn't mind seeing Rusev win an Intercontinental title, even Penta. Whoa, my goodness, Penta would have been great. Dia de los Muertos, Penta holds the title. My goodness, that would have been phenomenal. And Dom would have still had his Mega Campeonato. Not yet, Chris. Your thoughts on the match and your outcome?
I enjoyed the match. I really liked the match. I think it was what it needed to be. I think all three of those guys got a really good showing. Again, Rusev, they're starting to make they're starting to do more with him since he's come back to the company. He needs more wins though. I'm not saying he should have won this match. I'm not. But he needs meaningful wins other than Sheamus. He's not going to be the Intercontinental Champion. Maybe he'll get one more crack at it, but if he doesn't win it anytime soon, you got to keep building him up. Good stuff like Sheamus. Doesn't have to be Sheamus all the time, but find somebody else that you could have a good feud. That doesn't really mean much because it's not for a title, but to get showcased on TV or possibly a PLE. Keep doing that with Rusev. Again, Penta, they could do so much with Penta. I mean, I've talked about it so much with AAA, all that stuff. So we'll see. Again, so we know it. I knew the result was going to happen, but that's the only thing result wise going forward. But the match was really good. I like Dominik hitting the bell. I thought Rusev won. Like I was like, oh my god, like I was dying laughing. I was like, no way. Like, I mean, Don didn't have to lose. I was like, okay, I guess Don doesn't have, and then, so that was really good. I think, me at least swerved the hell out of me. I was just watching it right here on the TV. So it was fun. It was good. Going forward with Dom, he is the AAA Mega Campeon. So it's gonna keep getting implicated, and I think at the end of the day, that's another good reason for him to retain the title.
So that means you were in the back doing the shakes, the Rusev shakes when you thought that bell won.
No,
Don't lie.
no, because I was like, what the fuck? Like, why? Like, you're gonna make this guy the I was just so confused. I wasn't feeling great either. I was just like, no, like why? Like, he had one good feud, but again, that wasn't what happened. But I liked it. He's impressed me though. He's goofy as shit though, but he's had some really good matches since coming back.
I said on the watch along, and I'll say it here. I was open-minded whoever came out as Intercontinental Champion. To me, it didn't have to be a definitive winner. I would have been so happy for either three wrestlers, Rusev, Penta, or Dominik. I understand why Dominik holds that championship, or why he's holding both the Mega Campeonato and the Intercontinental, because it's going to be part of that Judgment Day demise storyline with Liv, which Liv is rumored to be getting close to returning soon. Maybe that's the Survivor Series surprise, where so maybe that's some implication for Dirty Dom. It's going to be in San Diego, California, so maybe that's a Liv surprise for Dominik, early Christmas present type of deal, where instead of Christmas is really a nightmare, the nightmare before Christmas. Maybe that's where they'll go with the WWE line. But all in all, I really enjoyed this match. All three men continue to work well. But then we have to ask the question, what does Rusev do next? Like you said, he needs more victories. But when you look at the landscape on Monday Night Raw, where does he go? Is he going to fight Penta again? I mean, they're going to put great matches. Sheamus, that's great. But do we, how much of that you're going to run back? Do you really want him to go up against Otis? Does that excite you on the Monday Night Raw that he's going to go up against Otis? We know he's going to destroy Otis. This is where you have to make the mid-card or the other wrestlers feel special, because especially this Monday night, you're going to have the rematch for the tag team champions, where Judgment Day is taking on AJ Styles and Dragon Lee. So that's not in the way. So not Grayson Waller, instead of wrestling, he's just doing what the hell the New Day talking about mourning. So they're I don't have any confidence when it comes to the creative with the mid card when it comes to that. So I don't go here. Listen, I don't know if they allow them to jump and answer one of Ilya Dragunov United States challenge, maybe Rusev Dragunov Do people want to see that? Because they tend to glaze, Dragunov, go up against Rusev. The match will be great. They don't need a story because it's an open challenge, but it looks like we're going to Tommaso Ciampa and Dragunov, which I kind of want to see. I didn't really care for it the way they got to it, where you beat me first, and he goes, no, he was here first, so he'll wrestle. I thought that was kind of goofy. Yeah, but that's SmackDown for you. But staying on course with this triple threat, the Intercontinental mid card title. I know Dominik is holding and winning that, but what next? What is there? I feel like that's do Jey Uso elevates down and takes on that Intercontinental Champion, as we're going to talk about his match coming up. Let's go right into it. The Undisputed, the vacant World Heavyweight Championship. I get those twisted. The man from Chicago, CM Punk, taking on Jey Uso in a match where I thought this match was not that good. I thought this match was a little the lowest for a main event, and this was the correct main event going into it. Don't get me wrong, but the chemistry or something was off with the men. They weren't, and I don't know where, especially that neck breaker where Jay. I don't know if Jay didn't know. I don't know if I don't want to say he's sandbag because I don't know. He didn't rotate properly. You saw Punk get immediately back up and just kicked him in the back of the neck. Like, what are you doing? That's like a veteran telling the young kid, slow down, like we saw on Dynamite from Bobby Lashley to Hook type of deal. All in all, CM Punk hits a couple of his moves repetitive. CM Punk becomes the world champion. To me, that I was shocked. I don't know if they wouldn't want the internet community to say, see, we knew that was going to happen. It was so predictable. No sign of Paul Heyman, Braun Breaker, or Big Brunson Reed. Nothing to do with the division. It was a straightforward, clean match. Listen, I'm going to say this, Chris. Match number 1, you had the ref bump. Match number 2, you had like a little bit of a squash kind of deal for the champion, or dominant performance by the challenger. Match number 3, you had your triple threat where you had shenanigans with the bell ringing and deception because it's a triple threat with no rules. And then your main event had a clean finish. So they didn't copy and paste all 4 matches. That's why I had to give this such a high regard on my watch along list. But your thoughts on CM Punk becoming the World Heavyweight Champion? Did you like it, or didn't see that happen?
I think it was the best. I think it was the best decision because I think a lot of people would agree with me. Jey Uso really isn't cutting it as a World Heavyweight Champion. I mean, he's really not. And nobody felt nothing his first reign. He's just the yeet guy to a lot of people's eyes. Again, this isn't the circumstance that I would have liked CM Punk to win the world title in. I would have liked eventually, it would have felt so cool to him for it to beat Seth Rollins and win it that way. But the show must go on. I think this was the best decision in a situation like this. They tried it with Jay the first time. I don't think he can carry a company on his back right now, like Punk can. And again, I hate bringing this up, but Punk literally carried an entire company on his back for 2 years, not that long ago. He can do it right now while Seth Rollins is out, because I don't know what plans they had. They probably had a lot of plans with Seth. Again, maybe we see Roman. Maybe we see more Roman. I mean, there's so much for Punk being champion that can happen. When Seth gets back, that's going to be perfect. Oh my God, because who does Seth Rollins despise the most? Punk. Punk having Seth Rollins gold when he didn't even lose it to him. Oh my God, that's going to irk his soul. That's way better TV than, no disrespect, whatever the fuck Jey Uso is going to do with whoever. That's just my opinion. I thought the match wasn't that great. I thought it was slow as hell in the beginning. I thought the last 5 minutes were the best parts of the match. CM Punk hit one of the worst spears I've ever seen, and Jey Uso did not know how to do the GTS. It was just it was the last 5 minutes were fine. The last 5 minutes were fine, but it was slow. The chemistry, like you said, wasn't there. But the result, it's the right way. They could have fucked it up completely with Jey Uso winning. So at least they got the result right.
And I want to piggyback what you said about if Jey Uso would have won, the only natural rivalry you really would have had was possibly Roman Reigns or Jimmy. You know, but
Again?
that he didn't play a part of it with the Roman Reigns, and Roman Reigns isn't there all the time. So Roman wasn't said, I don't want to see you until Christmas. I think we're not going to see him in War Games. I wouldn't be surprised if Roman Reigns doesn't become part of the War Games, because he doesn't, it's kind of telling you you're not seeing me for a while with his light schedule. CM Punk has, like you said, storylines, rivals that you could actually place there. You have LA Knight and CM Punk, which they've been teasing, and you could see that animosity between them two.
And that's better than LA Knight versus
LA Knight.
That's better than LA Knight versus Jay.
Yes. And we seen LA Knight and Jay, even with the brother getting involved and helping him, and against the Vision. Okay, we seen it done in Punk and LA Knight. That's something like, oh, wait a minute, I'm invested, because you're gonna have a good word of words. We saw that on Monday Night Raw between Jay and Punk, and all I got was 4 letters, 1 word: stop. That's all I heard. That's all I kept hearing. Stop. It wasn't a good promo battle. We couldn't, Jay is great. Don't get me wrong. Jay makes a shitload amount of money with the merchandise, and Jay is smart, because when your world heavyweight champion, is a little difficult to come down the aisle. I know Santana does it for TNA, and I know we go crazy, we go bananas and berserk. We don't want to sound hypocritical. We acknowledge that. But for the WWE, for Jay to come down the aisle to stop and eat with kids with that World Heavyweight title, it's going to be a little bit of a catastrophe. Like when you see Mike coming down and you want to cheer with him, you don't dare to do a little bit of or go a little overboard over Mike, because you kind of feel like Mike will punch you in your teeth and knock your teeth out. I'm not saying Jay won't either, but you kind of you want to get more. It's more of a party vibe, where Mike is more like, I'm real. I don't want to compare the two. It's not about comparing those two entrances coming through the crowd, but to me, Jay feels without the world title, that's more special, eating with the crowd, because he stops. He's smart. He stops and he interacts the children. He interacts the kids. Daddy, I want to buy Yeet glasses. I want to buy a Yeet shirt. I want to, Daddy, get me those tickets.
No.
So in case Mike Jay comes down the aisle, I want to be part of the Yeet and dance with him. Smart. Exactly.
No, yeah. And Mark,
he doesn't,
Mike, he doesn't do it.
I don't know who that guy is.
He doesn't do it. I don't know why I said Mark. No, but Mike, yeah, he doesn't do that to the fans. Like, again, he picks and chooses who he really, because he doesn't, if he saw us, maybe he'd fuck with us a little more, but or his friends like Matt.
He'll let us know that he's from the people, right? No, but when he stops, he tweets with his people. I'm with the people. I'm with your people. Jay is with the people, but he wants everybody to eat with him. Yeah, he wants everybody to be part of the entrance.
That's a good.
Mike is like, I'm coming out with you as the people. I'm with you. I'm part of you. I'm with you. You're with me. I'm one with you, and you're one with me. I'm part of the people. That's what I perceive from Mike Santana.
No, that's good.
Compared to Jey Uso's entrance coming out with the Heat. But Jay doesn't mean that's wrong. Jey Uso's smart. Incorporate yourself with those kids, because you're building a new fan base or new wrestling fan base with that experience, with the yeeting, stopping there, picking up little kids, having them part of the yeet. You don't need a world title that way. You actually become a little bit bigger than the world title, in my opinion. That's why some people's like, oh, Punk didn't need the world title. It doesn't matter where Punk won this world title. It could have been in Utah. It could have been in Sheboygan. It could have been, in the words of Bully's raised in your sister's ass. It's still world champion. The fact that you're getting upset it was in Utah, gives a shit. Doesn't matter. You won it. At the end of the day, you were WWE World Champion. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have, listen, the perfect story for Cody Rhodes should have been Madison Square Garden to win the world title. That's where the story really began for Dusty Rhodes. They did it in WrestleMania. They in Philadelphia. I mean, that to me, I find that more insulting. The story began in New York City, Madison Square Garden. You commemorated in Philadelphia? Get the hell out of here. Don't mind me way. That's not New York. That's just me. That's just me.
No, I think, I agree.
Because it happened.
I agree. Because the best way to put it is, it just depends on the story. It all depends, because you just said, right? It doesn't matter where Punk wins in Utah. It doesn't have to be in Chicago, whatever. But his story wasn't chasing the title. And there's no like with Santana in New York, his story is New York. He's New York. With Cody, like there's like with this wasn't Punk chasing the title. This was simply he won a fucking tournament and he's in. It's that simple.
He was number one contender. It's simple. Number one contender.
Yeah.
And wherever the match is,
A lot of
he's
people
there.
online
He's
are
ready.
shitting on it. I see
CM
it.
Punk
It's
was
like,
made ready. That's what he wanted to do. No. I know JD from New York didn't like it was in Utah. He kept shitting on Utah. Like Utah, like he must have looked like he must have got kicked out of the Mormon religion or something because he just shitted on Utah. Like, I mean, Utah's Utah, whatever it is. That's who cares. He won the title and could have won it. He could have won it again. He could have won it in Hawaii. Who cares? It was a WWE TV program, and he won the title. Move on. That's it. I mean, again, that's just us. That's just our opinion. Again, we don't have to agree with our opinion. We could agree to disagree, and just cordially say I disagree with these guys, or I agree with you. It doesn't matter. We're not, we're giving you our opinion, our thoughts. And again, we're not, you already have your mindset. We're not going to convince it. We'll be adults and say we agree to disagree with this. This is why going to say this. I enjoyed Saturday night's main event because now where does Jey Uso go next from here? You saw him with the stare look. I think I got the pic. I think I got a picture. Let me see if I could find it. If I could find it, I'll post it up. You have that stare look from Jey Uso in disbelief. Where do I go from here? Questioning himself, questioning the lost. What's next for Jey Uso? That's the question. And I even got it in black and white because it felt the black and white felt more. It felt more pungent. And look, he's staring at CM Punk holding the world title up. Where does he go? Do I have to become my cousin and do it only one way? Is that the words that he's going to get to storyline wise? Roman says it's only going to work if we do it one way. What is that one way? Is he going to question it and seek that, Chris?
One thing I was going to bring up because another little thing, this small disconnect during the match as well. But other than the match itself wasn't that great technically. Jey Uso, and this isn't just the match, this is the last couple weeks now. He feels he's a baby face, but yet it feels like he's trying to be a heel in his matches. He's trying to play. It feels like he feel like he's trying. He feels like he wants. It feels like he wants to, storyline wise, he wants to be that heel, but he can't. During the match, we saw that a little bit. There's some things that, that was, bloodline Uso. But yeah, he's still a baby face. So that's the only thing. I think eventually, yes. I think he could be. I think to answer your question, I think he could. I don't think Roman's turning babyface. Maybe they could do something where it's like, hey, don't, I fucked up. Learn from me. They don't need a championship match if they want to have another match like they did at SummerSlam, they don't need a championship like it was at SummerSlam. That's why it was a huge disconnect. Because if Jey actually beats Roman, kind of fuck winning the world title at that point. That's a major win for Jey Uso. So we'll see. But yes, I think in the future.
I think this is a way for them to align all members, part of the bloodline, like a reform of the OG bloodline where, it only works one way together. And I think that's the way they're going to do it. They're going to go out there and they're going to run Rob Shaw through the Monday Night Raw or Friday SmackDown, whichever brand the OG bloodline is going to get in. If they're going to do this, Chris, they need to keep it 3 members, or if they're going to add a 4th member, because everybody loves to add members to groups. If they're going to do the original, the Usos with Roman, and if they're going to add that 4th when Solo gets kicked out of the MFT, that's who should be taking place there because the natural brother. They don't need Sami Zayn to goof it up. I don't need Sami Zayn, no matter how you fans are going bananas. I need Sami Zayn, the original line. I'd rather have Solo first or don't put none of them at all. keep it there. If you want to keep revamp and got to do it one way and one way only, I actually keep it at 3. Then to me, don't need that 4th member. Everybody wants to add that 4th member to the division. Everybody wants to add that 4th member, and then when they do, oh, this is watered down. Too many members. And I hear that a lot from the same reactionary or reviewing podcasters. They want an extra member, and then when they add it, oh, it's watered down. Too many members. That's the same thing with the Don Callis. Oh, they need another member. They add another member. Oh, they got too many members. Calm down. You know, you're like a freaking pancake. You know, you want to get flipped over on your ass so many times. Relax. When you watch wrestling, relax. Not everything needs a 4th member or extra. You know, not everything. There's times it does, sometimes they don't. But that's just my opinion on that one there. And I see that a lot that happens in wrestling, or a lot of wrestling takes. For Punk, we got some stories in front of him. Even Drew McIntyre. You could go back with Drew McIntyre, could go after CM Punk. We got unfinished business. Now you have a world title. You know, the same way I took away your bracelet, I'm going to take away your title. You could open up a Drew McIntyre and CM Punk feud back up as well. Would love to see that. It wouldn't be no problem there. Yeah, AJ Styles, CM Punk. We haven't seen that. We could see something along the line. I know it's going to call for one babyface or heel, but let's say there's a number 1 contendership. And the storyline is that AJ, before retiring, wants an opportunity just like Punk to take an opportunity of the world title. There's avenues to go there, but here's the one thing that's going to put a little bit of a hamper. One, the John Cena tournament, because that's going to be all eyeballs to that on that tournament. Who's going to have the honor to have that last match with John, and also the War Games build. Those are the next priority when it comes to the WWE, at least Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown storyline. Now it's up to creative to keep us invested, get us excited. Look, for WWE creative on a Friday night, it's getting cold out in the Northeast. It's getting, the weather's changing. You have to please start giving more comprehensive television stories with everyone, not just a couple. Now, I don't need to see Cody Rhodes in 3 segments in a 2-hour show. That you could tell, you could give them 1, maybe 2 segments. You have to showcase the other wrestlers to want to care about when they give us those television, when they come on our TV screen, because there's storyline that bleeds into all different angles. I know you're going to have the John Cena tournament, the Ilya Dragunov opening, all that stuff. Also, you have good tag teams. I don't also need tag teams to be split into this John Cena tournament. I don't need that either. I don't need them wasting time. I don't need Johnny Gargano in this tournament. I'm sorry. I don't want to see Johnny Gargano and maybe Montez Ford. If Montez Ford is going to stay with Dawkins and he chose that route, stay out of the tournament, stay as a tag team. And it's up to creative to make us feel important of those tag teams as well. I don't have, as of right now, this moment, I don't have faith in the creative. I also saw Triple H put out a tweet, pretty much saying how wonderful this event is and all this good stuff. I try to add him. I don't think he read it, but I just gonna throw what I wrote. I said for the amount of absurd money that you're charging for your ticket pricing, and for the amount of different apps that we have to consume and purchase or subscribe to your product, you have to give us more than 4, or in this case, some cases 6 match cards. You have to give us 7 to 8 matches per card for these premium live events, because times are tough. Those tickets are out there expensive. I have no idea how people are still purchasing these tickets all across the country, where we have a government shutdown, where people don't even know if they're going to get their money. You know, the air traffic controllers. And I hate to bring political stuff into our channel. That's a whole separate channel, but it's real life. You know, here in Central Florida, we're slow as hell. I got to work maybe 1 day a week now, maybe 2, because they're slow at work. They don't give us enough work. They're not building. You know, I'm an electrician, a new construction electrician. We're not working as much. Times are tough. I don't know where these folks are spending this money on these tickets that are uber expensive. You've seen the 2-day combo for WrestleMania. Unless if you're one of these guys that get credentials and they pay for everything else for another sponsor, you're gonna go. But if as a family of 4 or a person who's working, I don't know how you guys. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know how you guys afford to go to these events. I'm gonna go to this point. I'm even a price for NXT live house show. I'm outpriced because it's a lot of
They
money.
raised the prices
I
on
don't
the
know how they
NXT
do
live
it.
shows. Oh shit!
They used to be 20, the best $20, $25. You know, for front row seats. General admission, I think was 15, 10. They went up like 10, $20 for those. I mean,
Ooh.
it's still a good show. You're still gonna get, even if you pay the extra to go up, but it still was a lot. You know, you times it by 2, you times it by 4. It's a pricey, you know, it's a pricey outgoing. I still don't know how they get there, Chris. I don't know how they get this. I don't know, you know, it's like wrestling is supposed to be our escape. And that's what we do this year because it escapes me from my issues at home with the financial situation. I come here and speak wrestling, watch along wrestling, talk to you guys and forget about all the other stuff. But then when wrestling starts touching our wallets financially to participate and to stream, it's like, damn, you're bringing the reality. You're bringing my reality that I'm trying to escape into my wrestling escape. And it's a tough one, Chris. It's a tough one, man. I can't even get a This was Shep Dan who bought me this shirt for my birthday last year. I can't even get a t-shirt because it's $45 to get a t-shirt. You know how many times I would love to get a couple of Mike Santana's t-shirts. The championship one that he wants to wear for when he comes to I can't afford it. I can't. I want to, I just can't afford it. It's just times are tough. Times are really tough.
Yeah, I mean the front row tickets are just ridiculous. They're ridiculous. The 40,000, they're ridiculous. I don't see why anybody would want to pay for that. But yeah, you know, that's, you know, WWE, TKO's WWE, they're raising their prices. And you know, more people are you know, are gonna get impacted by it. I, you know, it's hard because, you know, some people are gonna pay them. I'm not gonna sugarcoat. I bought my ticket already to Hershey. I bought it, and I got a good seat. It was more than I usually do, but whatever. That's kind of like my birthday present from my parents anyway. So, I mean, but other than that, it's like, you know, it is ridiculous, and you know, we've had this conversation so many times. They're greedy. They're greedy. I mean, all these companies are greedy, and you know, the streaming, all that stuff. And I don't think it's gonna change. I just don't think it's gonna change. No matter how much we talk about it, even the biggest influencers can spread the word. I don't think it's gonna change.
No, but here's the thing that I'm looking for, a little bit of a minor change. And I know a lot of people complain, and also it goes also to us as an IWC community. Also, and I get upset when I hear, and yes, I know it could be long, but then there's always an extreme for everything, and everything in life and everything. There's always an extreme for everything. Then you have the IWC extremists. Oh, Tony Khan gives you 16 matches. You know, 16 matches, 7-hour pay-per-views. I can't take it. You know, oh my God, I got to work through all this watching. Then I got to come on live stream and stream for 3 hours, and I'm bent, tired, exhausted. When you have to do that and then get up at 4 in the morning and go physically, manually labor to work, talk to me when you do that. But when you're going to stay home and get up and go play video games after you did your review, like you're going to go play Destiny and then you're going to get up and drink coffee and then go feed cats, that's not work. When you have to get up as us and when it's either 95 degrees and humid to work in a house to provide the electricity so they could put the air conditioner, so they could get inspected by the city and build it for the new homeowners, your 3,000 square foot house, and finish it and come in and work and record and then do videos, watch alongs and do that, then talk to me when you talk about hard labor and work. But if you're just recording videos every week, every night, and then you get and God bless you. People give you $100 super chats, $200 super chat. God bless you for that. Great, you do a good job with it. But don't come out there and complain that you're working your ass hard. When me and Chris get up, or there's many others. God knows that's not us. There's many others that do the same shit that work 9 to 5 and then come on here to do podcast reviews or watch along or react. Don't shit on it. Just God bless you. You got your lane. You got your views. You found your niche. But don't come out and to insult to say that you work your ass hard. I've got calluses and cuts on our hands from the work, and I'm still come here and talk wrestling and watch it and enjoy it because we do it for the love. Don't insult your fan base. Don't insult the people that are cheering for you to do good, and tell us that you're working your ass off. to me, or you sit around and be Mr. Mom. There's nothing wrong with that. You're helping out at home. We all do the same thing. We all take out the trash, exactly. Take the recycling, the bins out to the corner and all that stuff. We all do it. Doesn't make you special. And, hey, I wish I could play video game after we're done at night or after reviewing, but you don't want to have to get up and pay bills. That's real work. My husband, my father, we have to do that. So, yeah, that's another thing I wanted to mention. That. Let's talk about some good news, though, Chris. Coming up November 22nd. November 22nd in El Paso, Texas. There's going to be a food giveaway for TNA wrestler, TNA teaming up with Operation Hope in the area of El Paso, Texas. Leon Slater, Frankie Kazarian will be part of that food giveaway with other TNA wrestlers. There's a reach out to the community in Texas for this time of the year for giving hope. And also part of the Operation Hope on Monday, December 8th. I believe it's going to be 8th through the 9th or selected dates. There's going to be a TNA toy drive for the El Paso area. If you're part of that part, or it's called at the El Paso County Coliseum. Please give a unwrapped toy or whatever you can in this time of the year for those folks there. Not just there. If you're not part of El Paso, Texas, find your local area. I know here in Orlando, Florida, there's a lot of food distribution, food banks that gives out. Check out it on different places. I know East Orlando, you have the one on Chickasaw that you have to check out on Facebook page from the Gathering Place. They give out food if you need food in Central Florida. They're there, of course, and the times are tough. There's something that that comes close to our hearts to give out and serve the community, at least in our home. And TNA is doing that. That's great to talk about. Everybody talks about the negative about professional wrestling. Who fumbled? Who's cheating on who's putting heads in fish tanks. Let's talk about the positive when it comes to the food and the giving. And I know AJ Francis does that for Baltimore. He does a food can drive as well. And not just at TNA, but other wrestling companies that do it. If you know about it, let's retweet it. Everybody likes to retweet the negative shit. Let's retweet the good stuff where certain companies and wrestlers are doing something to help their communities, Chris.
Yeah, that's what makes TNA good. They do a lot of things for communities, like the softball games, stuff like that. This isn't the first time they do stuff like that either. So they do this every year. So that's good for them. Again, yeah, I agree. There's a lot here in Pennsylvania too. So, if you can do it. But yeah, that's what makes TNA good. They do a lot for local communities that they go to for their shows. Local communities appreciate it, and we saw it firsthand. So yeah, TNA's always good for stuff like that. Again, sucks that that's why wrestling for me right now hasn't been hitting, because they're not really doing shows. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for them to be back, and yeah, they do great things for community stuff. So great job, TNA. That's why they stay in their lane and they do their
speaking
thing,
of TNA. Speaking of TNA, Chris, we miss it. We've said it. I said on the watch along. We totally miss Thursday nights. We're gonna do a Thursday night. They have an open fight night. We're going to take a look at what that is. We'll be doing that. We're gonna watch along and see what that is. We totally miss TNA. Can't wait when they return back on Full Sail Live and Turning Point and so forth. Get back on the Regiment Call, whatever streaming platform they're returning. We miss seeing everyone, listening, from the commentary from Halifin to Matthew Renal. We miss listening to Gia Miller's interviews. We miss the TNA brand off of TV. Hopefully they're all getting strong, re-energized with new storylines, kicking it forward for TNA. But here's one thing. We're going to see some implementation, part of that Gold Rush two-week event at Madison Square Garden, November 18th. Also the 25th. There's going to be all different titles from Evolve, TNA, NXT. Hopefully we get to see the world champion in New York City for TNA, Mike Santana, have a title defense. Even if it's against another TNA wrestler, I'm fine. I just want to see him come out at Madison Square Garden for Mike Santana on an NXT brand television, on a WWE television. I think to me would be a great way of topping off 2025 for Mike Santana.
Let's hope. I tweeted that out earlier, so
let's hope.
Let's hope. But yeah,
all right.
I'm excited. I'm excited to see what they got. Again, Saturday night's main event was good. overall, the wrestling product I think is going to slow down a little bit. WWE, at least in my opinion, specifically, that's really what I'm talking about. I meant to say what, they're going to focus on WWE on Cena's shit for the next month or 2 months, and then month and a half, really, or a month and a few change, and they're going to slow it down before the Royal Rumble. So let's enjoy the last good month that we're going to
But
get
you
of.
think let me ask this. Let me ask this question to you. You think it's slowing it down with the tournament because it doesn't do it? I think it actually helps when they do the Continental Classic tournament with the John Cena tournament. I think if they could get that kind of energy, would it help you? Would it help the TV brand if they do something similar or no? You don't think you don't like
After
it? You're a fan. First and
after
foremost, are you a
Cena's
fan of the
retire
Continental?
after my fan, no, I think the Continental Classic's bullshit. First off, you have the Owen Hart tournament. Second, the
Okay.
Continental Classic Championship means nothing. The same winner wins it every year. No, the shit means nothing. The matches are fucking
Okay.
great, but no, I don't care about the Continental Classic. And I think
Okay.
once they do Cena's retirement, I think again the product's gonna slow down WWE, and they're not gonna kick it back up till the Royal Rumble. That's just what I think is gonna happen. I could be totally wrong, and hopefully I am, but I think we have another good month left. AEW, I don't give a shit what they're doing at World's End.
Well, that's
And
gonna take.
TNA, I have looking forward to for Turning Point. So and when they're in El Paso. So I mean,
Okay.
that's where I'm at right now, especially with the WWE. I don't see them getting into a hot feud or anything hot right before WrestleMania season. They do it every year. And now that they have Cena's retirement tour and
You
they
could
can
be.
make the excuse for doing that, oh my God, yeah.
I think they're gonna really make the Cena tournament really special. He earned it, and people are gonna go. They're gonna give their best wrestling forward. I think we're gonna have a really good tournament. That's just my opinion, my feel. They're building for War Games, where I think on War Games this year might be a little underwhelming. I hate to say this. I think in the matches it's going to be just a little bit underwhelming, unless there's a way of making War Games feel really special, but they're not going to go that route because I don't think they're
Blood
going to
and
want to take the
guts. I'm
spotlight.
actually
That's going to
hyped
be
for
John
blood
Cena's
and guts.
last War Games. Yeah, we're going to talk about All Elite in a second. And then this takes you to December 13th for John Cena that Saturday. Then you got like 2 to 3 weeks before the year ends. You might be right. Holiday show, for on Raw, they're gonna do the best of, and then this and that. The NXT is gonna be taped. So until at least January, they 1 year anniversary of Netflix on Raw, they'll start ramping things up because they're gonna make a big deal about the first year.
Yeah, true. They'll
Netflix
do
on Raw.
that.
They'll give you all the bells and whistles. Then that takes you New Year's Evil for NXT. The first Raw, the first SmackDown of the year is going to be a little special, and then you might start seeing a little bit of a low or building towards the European. That's what's going to hurt us because they're going to go on that European tour in January, and Raw is going to be coming on in all hours of the afternoon, all hours of the day, and then they're going to get the Saudi Royal Rumble, and then we'll see where it goes. We're going to stop there because we don't know. We don't want to assume different things, and then we'll find out what goes for that.
Yes,
For
I'm
the
excited.
WWE.
We'll see.
You might be right, but I think
I think that's what's gonna happen.
they're gonna.
Bro.
I think I'm gonna go. I think it's gonna be opposite. I think they're gonna really give us a good closing out for John Cena's farewell. I think WWE's gonna go, damn, they're cooking, they're hot again. I just got a funny feeling. I could be a hopeful moron about it.
We'll see.
But I'm having hope that they're gonna make it. They're gonna make it feel special. I think so. Let's talk about something that a lot of people might not think it was special. At least 480,000 plus on the viewership. Dynamite, the Dynamite here, Fright Fest. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna talk about this Fright Fest Dynamite before Halloween. I watched it. This is AEW is not my product. It's not my cup of coffee. I had nothing to do on that Wednesday. I said, let me watch it. Let me have an open mind. I'm going to say this. That show was fair. That show was fair. I'm not going to say it was terrible. It wasn't. I've seen worse Dynamites. I thought it was a fair show. The one thing that women's tag team matches for that tournament, I was surprised that Sky Blue and Julia Hart won, especially where you had Hayter and Almalala called them as the first. I want to challenge you first because I want to get you out of the way, and they lost. I thought that was comical. I was like, what are we doing? It's like I guess it's be careful what you wish for. That's why I got out of it for Madonna and Jamie Hayter. But I like the concept of that tag team. But here's the one thing: I wish the tag team tournament didn't have Mercedes and Athena, because I thought when they attacked at Statlander, I thought that was cringe. I thought that was terrible. And then Willow comes out and Harley Tits comes out, and I was like, oh, like it lost me. The women were doing good stuff, and then that part there was like, oh, why? It was, and then Athena it just felt, why are you helping her? She beat. It was so many. I know you're a tag team now because it just, that's where the little bit of the plot holes happen there. One thing I do got to say about Hook, I don't know what it is about him. I was telling you off air. There's something about him I can't like. I don't know what it is. He seems so arrogant, so cocky, like his shit don't stink. And you haven't done anything in the wrestling business, kid. You could throw someone over your head like a nice suplex, but other than that, you cannot tell a story. You had to have Bobby. I don't know if that was. Did you see that? Did you think that was kayfabe or part of the storyline when he says, "Slow down, kid"?
I have no idea. I'm gonna assume that it was real.
There was a spot where he tells him slow down, and he really got animated about telling, because Hook was there, like he looked like he was wrestling like a wrestler trying to come out of the hot tag throughout the whole match. Like, okay. He looked like he's just saw a new pair of boots, and he was putting his feet right into them. He was that excited. It was just so enthusiastic for him. He didn't belong in that main event scene there. I could have gave you many names to be in that main event, to be there in that fatal 4-way, but I understand why they did it. I know people are upset at Bobby Lashley, why he didn't win that. It would have gave a fresh for Hangman. And, personally, they should have went with Bobby. If they want to put the title on Bobby and then MJF, leads to MJF taking it from Bobby, they could have done that route. But I don't know when MJF is coming. This is the issue that I have when the company happens. This is what hurts AEW, in my opinion. I know Swerve is injured. You can't do anything about Swerve or the Ospreay. He's injured. But when you have your EVP not being there to go play video games, doesn't look good. You have another guy that you want to push. He wants to climb mountains, another selfish reason. And for MJF, and I know Cody did it, and I know Roman did it, but Roman's a part-timer, wants to go film a movie rather than helping a struggling company. There's a lot of selfishness when it comes to these wrestlers. And as much as people can't stand and want him to go away and disappear, Jon Moxley, at least I got to give him credit. Like him or not with the Death Riders, he postponed his vacation to go out to be with his wife because the company needed him to be there for it. Talk about a guy who's waving the AEW flag. I don't give a shit if you went to Mount Everest. Jon Moxley waves that flag for that company. I don't care if you like him or not. Not my cup of coffee of a wrestler. I think but the dude, when he's unselfishly putting stuff personal to for the betterment of the company, that's a flag bearer. That's a guy who waves the flag. Yes, the Death Riders things suck. Yes, everything stinks. It's terrible. But he did not put his selfishness. Said, no, fuck that. I'm going on vacation. I'll see you later. He didn't. I gotta go climb an Everest. Or I gotta go to Tokyo to play some video games. Or I gotta go film a movie. This guy is there regardless of the fact. And this is what bothers me with the company. That's why, and then they wonder why they don't succeed or grow or have anything, because their own performers got better things to do than putting the best to making them the best, where the best wrestle. It's where the best selfishness wrestles, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. That was a lot there. Yeah, I mean, MJF. I think he needs to be around. I don't know what else he could do really to help the company. I don't know. I've said what I could pretty much say about AEW so many times. I'm just it's not for me anymore. Simply not for me anymore. Happy that you're finally giving it a chance though. I haven't watched. I don't. I don't. I don't like to tell people what I watch and don't watch on air, but I can't tell you what happened the last couple weeks. It's not for me anymore. AEW is not for me. I don't care about the product.
Wow.
I'll watch a pay-per-view here and there, but I can't. I don't. I'm not watching the Dynamite. And then if I watch a Dynamite, I have to be bored out of my fucking mind. The product, they lost me. They lost me. I'm tired of good pro wrestling matches. I've said this for the last 6 months, and it's I don't know. I'm tired of just great matches. No, nothing progresses. Nothing progresses. They don't build to their shows. They don't build aftermaths to their shows. It's not for me. AEW is not for me. I've replaced it officially with TNA as my number 2.
Wow.
As my alternative.
Wow.
Also, I support
I'm not
the company. Don't get me wrong. I'm not wishing
Mm-hmm.
Will ill in the company. You know, I want them to keep going. It's still an opportunity to see some of my fit because I love Osprey. I love a lot of the wrestlers there. Darby, Osprey, Swerve. They're not there right now. Maybe that's a reason why I'm not in touch, or feeling it. But at all, the last 3 months, I haven't been feeling the product. And it's really all summer, honestly. And it's just there's nothing for me there that I like. I've seen it all. I've seen it all. I lived through the glory days of that company. I've seen all the dream matches that I wanted to see. I have nothing to look forward to in that company anymore. They gave me everything, and I wanted in 5 years.
Wow, that's interesting. I wonder how many people. I'm pretty sure a lot of people feel that way. I'm
They
pretty sure
gave
a lot
me
of folks
everything I
felt that
wanted
way.
in 5 years. They gave me Omega Danielson. They gave me the Darby Osprey. They gave me Swerve Osprey. They gave me all these dream matches. MJF Punk, Jericho Omega, Jericho. They gave me everything in 5 years. I don't need to watch that shit anymore.
Don't forget, they gave you Jericho and then Orange Cassidy in that Mimosa match.
Wish I didn't watch. Wish I could remove that. And I honestly forgot about that until you brought it up. So thanks. I can't fucking stand. That's another. Hey, I don't. That's another reason why I can't stand it. That's another reason why I can't stand it. But no, it's again. I don't. I don't wish bad on the company. I'm not gonna. You're not gonna see me on Twitter. I'm gonna criticize the fuck out of it, but I'm not gonna make videos. I'm not gonna hate watch it, or I'm not gonna hate.
I'm gonna do the stream with my hands
content.
in my pockets for you.
I can't stand it.
I'm streaming with my hands in my pocket.
Yeah, just don't do a fucking drop kick, and then we'll be good. But I hate when he does that shit. Does the drop kick, and then he does like the Shawn Michaels. Oh my god! But no, they lost me. They lost me. They gave me everything, all the good stuff in 5 years. I'm gonna say 2021 was the best year they had, in my opinion. But yeah, there's nothing I look forward to. TNA, everything. It feels like a whole new. I've been watching again. I grew up on TNA. It feels like now there. If it's since the beginning of the year, it feels like what AEW felt for me when they came out. Feels something new, fresh. I'm getting invested in a lot of these wrestlers who I might not have before. TNA. It's giving me the rebrand and the personal, little small relationship we build with the talent and some people backstage. I don't know. I'm getting that AEW feeling. How I felt about AEW when they first came out, I'm feeling that about TNA. Like, and then because I felt like that when TNA gave me everything. They gave me all these dream matches. I don't need to watch Impact. I watch the pay-per-views. Some of the pay-per-views that if I like the card, I'm at the point with that with AEW. Now, am I gonna watch it? I'll probably watch it on like a Thursday morning. I'll watch the clips and highlights so I can give, an opinion when we do talk about it on the show, of course. But am I gonna invest my time into that product like I have for the last 5 years? No. Hell no. Absolutely not. Unless they really turn shit around.
That's a tough one. That's a tough one because the way they created booking, the way they book, and the way they do, I don't know if they will. I don't know the way. I think you got what you get. You're gonna get what you got. You know already what you already know what
if
you're
you
getting,
didn't live through that early
it
AEW days, I don't even worry about getting invested into it now. That's my opinion. There's no point. I mean, I understand AEW as a concept isn't for, and I know we don't mean to get on a whole spiel about AEW. We have some extra time here, and it's been a while. So since we talked a little bit about everything, so excuse us for that. But it's it is unfortunate. It's unfortunate because that company. I know it's not everybody's cup of tea. But it was so new. I guess it's just not the cool thing anymore. I guess it's just not the new thing because for me, I can only speak for me personally. I was seeing a lot of these guys like Omega, the Bucks, a lot of these guys on Ring of Honor, Cody in the indie scene on Ring of Honor or New Japan. It was such a bitch to find these shows. You had to go through all these other, low-key thriller TV, fight TV, whatever, just to find it. It's like it's not worth it at that point. Now when they get to when especially when WWE, even if WWE wasn't as bad as it was back then, it's just something new. I got to see these guys on TV on TNT, a major American network, right? And it sucks that the backstage shit fumbled, made that company go downhill. It sucks that one person, in my opinion, look, you could say what you want about the Jack Perry, CM Punk, all that stuff, everything that's happened. It all falls on one person at the end of the day, and that's Tony Khan. Because he wanted to be a friend instead of a boss. And I think, again, it just sucks to what AEW has become. It sucks to what it was. I mean, dude, I cannot explain that feeling. I go back and I watch the old All Out. I go back and I watch All Out 2021. And I go back and I watch Double or Nothing 2022. I mean, the moments, like, they were doing so good, man, creatively. I mean, they had it. Tony had it. And then something went wrong. Something went wrong.
Cody Rhodes leaving. Cody Rhodes leaving was the reason. It's Cody Rhodes. It was Cody Rhodes having his input.
No, that's I can agree. I can agree with that. And it's also, they didn't go down as much as I thought they were. And then because they had Punk still, but it really is sad. It is sad to see.
Let me ask you this
how
question.
The diehard WCW fans felt in the 90s, because this shit sucks. Seeing such a new wrestling company start, and like, oh my God, I will never forget watching that first Dynamite. The first ever Dynamite. Fucking great.
Let me ask you this, Chris. Knowing what we know about Cody, do you think he would be selfish to go, let's say, like, go play video game or convention, go climb a mountain, go film, he asked the permission for the movie thing here, which WWE dabbles into that. Do you think he would have done that with All Elite Wrestling?
So when it comes to stuff like that, I can understand your point of view, because you're at the company's at a point right now, and to answer your question, maybe, because he's doing it right now with WWE as the world champion.
Yes.
So maybe, and he would have a fuck ton of more freedom to do it. So it's more of a yes, I would say.
Okay.
And I understand stuff like that, right? I agree to an extent, but I also think, even though Darby doing Mount Everest is fucking nuts, especially when Tony, he should have put the world title on him. Maybe Tony wasn't 100% convinced, because if Tony was 100% convinced, I don't think Darby climbs Mount Everest. And I don't know, but anyway, my point is, with MJF doing Happy Gilmore and all that other stuff, the girls doing Queen of the Ring, I want AEW talent to do stuff like that, because let's say a guy like Adam Copeland doing Percy, he's already a fucking made name. I'm talking about the up and comers, like Darby climbing Mount. Oh my God, this wrestler climbed the mountain. Like, I like the publicity that it brings to not just them, but their affiliation. I agree. It's the timing. I just think the timing of stuff That's the thing that's fucked up. Because go do Happy Gilmore. Go not climb Mount Everest, but if that's what you truly want to do, Darby, go fucking climb Mount Everest. I just think the times of a lot of these things are bad. But I like them doing stuff to build their portfolios outside of wrestling and to also bring them more publicity to wrestling. And Darby goes on, Ariel talks about him especially planting the flag. I mean, that's I hear what you're saying, but I like that part of it as well.
Again, that's why I ask you that, to hear your point of view. I have a point of view. You have a different point of view with that. Timing is totally off when it comes to this company, where they seem things are declining, going a totally different direction. It should be the owner should step in. I don't know. I really need you, because certain things are happening where you don't see that, where the owner, certain things. But here's the one thing you said about doing television, doing great. This is where you could nitpick and point the finger at Khan, because Camille did the same thing for Queen of the Ring movie, and she hasn't been booked on television since. Now, she did a movie. Why she gets punished? And because she wanted to do that movie, and meanwhile others decided to go and so forth. That's the thing. You have to show a little consistency when it comes to certain projects outside the wrestling ring. I believe Samoa Joe goes and does Twisted Metal.
He's what's his fuck? He's I forget his ghost. He's something face. No, but he's something face on Twisted. He's the clown on Twisted Metal. It's really cool. Yeah. But sadly he doesn't do the voice. Will Arnett does, and that's my girlfriend's favorite actor, so that's why I watch it. But with that, with Camille specifically, because I know you've been high on her for a while, and I know you've talked about this for a little bit. I think Mercedes fucked that girl over, and I don't think it's all on Khan. I think it's on Khan at the end of the day, yes, because he could have given her something else. But I think Mercedes it didn't work for her, brother. I was waiting for it because I know it's back there. So it didn't work for her. That's exactly what happened with Camille, in my opinion. But we'll see, man. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Again,
okay, that's fine.
Yeah, go ahead.
So if it didn't work, just release the girl. Let her go. If you want to put a contingency, you go to work any other wrestling promotion, but put something in the language where maybe 9 months you can't work in the WWE. You can work anywhere else, but 9 months not in the WWE. You see when Andrade got a year ban. Release her then. Don't just have her sit there, waste her talent. Let her go work for CMLL or TNA or MLW. Go back to the NWA where she, cut her teeth in, where she really made herself put on the wrestling map. Just don't having her not on television, not being working. It's a disgrace. It's it's not an AEW thing. It's a whole wrestling company situation. We talked about Andrade last week, and we weeks prior to but if you're going to get mad at certain talent for doing certain projects, you got to be fair. You can't, and and companies know when in the case of WWE has other talents that they're going to plug in. Like right now, the AEW has a lot of injuries to their babyface main eventers. But Khan doesn't want to elevate or at least make someone feel pushed up. You have the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, Tenoshi Takeshita. He should have been taking on Hangman Page. Build that up. Get us that tease. Because Takeshita has been in that company for a while. That should be the next guy you should be pushing towards Hangman. I personally, I'll be honest with you, when I watched that Fatal 4-Way, I don't care too much for the guy, but I know he wasn't going to win the World Heavyweight title. I would have liked Ricochet by hook or crook. Ricochet balled out on that Fatal 4-Way. He did. As much Ricochet did his Ricochet stuff that we've seen many times in WWE and in AEW and all the movements. He was on par. He put on a banger of a match on that Fatal 4-Way. I wouldn't mind Ricochet winning by a crook and taking on Hangman, something different. And then you would, because Samoa Joe has those trios champion. You could have he's got a program, an avenue where he has to go. But and Ricochet, Hangman, it wouldn't have been the sexiest, Chris. But you putting Ricochet on the big store, on the big platform. Now show me what you got, because you talk a lot of shit online. Let's see you be a main eventer. Let's see you put on a banger where we're gonna, change the mindset of the company. Maybe you find lightning in a bottle, or you strike gold, or you step in a big pile of hot golden shit with Ricochet in the main event, not going over, but people want to see more. He becomes more like he wants to be in demand, not go away eat. And they should have let Ricochet be a main event. Try it against Hangman Page at Full Gear, because at the end of the day, you still got MJF with that contract that he's going to cash it in at any time. You still have that golden parachute to bail out when he returns. So why not give an opportunity to Ricochet to wrestle Hangman Page and so forth? But there's no creativity, vision, and yes, your Hangman and Samoa is going to be great, but it's a repeat risk, especially when you're charging $49 for a pay-per-view. You're kind of replaying a lot of matches. That's the issue you have there when it comes to them, and then that's the problem when it comes to the company. They he gets tunnel vision on a certain way, and he doesn't look around or see the different possibility of other fresh matches or sink or swim for certain wrestler that you bought in and you paid a lot of money to. But it is what it is. Hopefully, you said it. You stop. I'm not. That's not my cup of coffee. I watch it. I want to talk about it and give my opinion from a fan who's not a fan, to see where they could get better. Because if they're there's more more wrestling. And look, we added an extra 20 minutes to our segments. We're talking about All Elite Wrestling. It gives us some content to conversate with you guys about. That's why All Elite Wrestling is important. It's important to for the ecosystem of professional wrestling. That's all they know. And this is the month of gratitude, and we're going to be thankful that they exist for people to wrestle, so we could talk for talents to get bumps, reps, make some money, generational changing money for some of these performers. They don't. So and plain and simple, adding to the fabric of this economy of the United States. If you want to be a month of gratitude and thankfulness in the month of November, that's what we're going to do. And also that we want to thank you and give you our sincere gratitude for joining us, for watching along with us, for hitting that like, subscribing, following us on all our different platforms. You see it there if you're viewing us. Those are our handles on X, as well as Hey, it's Canary, the female voice of the channel, as well as Dying Breed Chef Dan. He does the Giants Cutting Truth, as well as Austin with his MMA takes and his weekly show. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you joining us, listening us, allowing us to entertain. We're not everyone's cup of coffee. That's fine. That's fine. We brew it a certain way. Sometimes you feel like drinking it. Sometimes you don't. It's fair. That's fine. It's fair. We try to be fair, balanced, and honest in our wrestling takes, because we all have them. And we could agree to disagree. And we are a bunch of Latinos. We have wrestling voices. So with that said, Chris, say goodnight and we'll get out of here, man.
I'm ready, man. No, this was a good conversation. A lot of wrestling going on. I had some wedding duties, so haven't had the opportunity to really, sit here and talk. So we'll be here for Monday Night Raw tomorrow. Monday Night Raw tomorrow is going to be pretty good. Follow up after Saturday night's main event. Again, this is the month of November. So let's be thankful again. Let's enjoy the last month of Cena. And I'm ready. I'll see you guys tomorrow. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Y Dios me lo bendiga a todos. Buenas noches.
Represento las calles de mi